Wonderful feature of the SeeSaw portfolio is how well it plays with other apps. There's yet to be something that my students have created using a different app that I couldn't have them upload to SeeSaw. It really is such a flexible portfolio that any creation that's done, any digital creation the students have, they can add it to their SeeSaw portfolio in some form. So I wanted to share with you a few examples of what my students have done. A few of the apps that we smash into our SeeSaw portfolio, ThingLink. If you look at the right, this is an example of a ThingLink. If you haven't used ThingLink before, it's where you have an image and the students create links on that image that then can go to different places, or they can pull up a description, or they can pull up a text box. In this case, my students were just starting to explore the endocrine system. So they had to use this body image and create links that every time you clicked on a link, it would identify the endocrine gland and explain its function. And all we needed to do was upload the link for the ThingLink. When you create a ThingLink, you get a link that you can copy, and then you just add it as a link to SeeSaw, and it's right there on their SeeSaw page. We do use iMovie quite a lot. It's a wonderful tool. Either in this case, students were challenged with creating a video that demonstrated the difference between speed, acceleration, and velocity. They created it in iMovie, and then iMovie you can either save to the camera roll, or you can get the option to upload it using the upload arrow directly into SeeSaw. This right here is using Simple Mind to create a concept map, and the students were able to screenshot it and then upload it to SeeSaw. As we'll talk about, there's now a wonderful tool that lets you upload anything created using a Google app. Sketch we used a lot before SeeSaw upgraded its labeling feature. But what you'll see here is the students drew an image of a neuron, and they used Sketch to add labels. Now granted, they can now do that in SeeSaw, but Sketch is a really nice feature. A really nice app. They then saved the image in their camera roll, uploaded it to iMovie, and recorded a narration of what each part does. If you've ever played with the iMovie trailers, you'll recognize this as one of the iMovie trailer formats. My students love to use those, and I've used those trailers in a lot of different ways. This is an example of they were assigned a body system to create a trailer about that body system, what makes that body system unique and special. We've also used Book Creator. Book Creator, you can upload, when you create a book using Book Creator, you can either upload it as a PDF to SeeSaw, or you can upload it as a movie to SeeSaw, which is wonderful because then it'll just flip through the pages of the book that the students created. For example, I have my Advanced Anatomy create a storybook explaining to kids how vaccines work at the cellular level. As we've seen in other videos, you can screenshot anything from your data collection device. We use SparkView, and that uploads directly to SeeSaw. Shadow Puppet and Pic Collage are very nice if you're wanting to combine pictures and explain pictures in a video format. And we've also used the green screen feature from TouchCast Studio quite a bit. Again, that's just the beginning of the list. Essentially, every app we've used, we've found a way to add it to SeeSaw. This right here is an example of the students were challenged with creating an inside view of the immune response, and they had to use the green screen feature in TouchCast Studio. What this is they were talking about the E. coli virus, so they had to follow the E. coli virus from when it got into the body, and then all of the immune response that happened as the body tried to fight off that pathogen. So this one particularly made me laugh because, you know, this boy right here is representing the E. coli virus moving through the large intestine. As noted on the previous slide, we've used something called iMotion. iMotion allows you to create stop motion animation. And the students used that to create this particular project where they had to animate and explain the cross-bridge cycle. So they used different objects from my craft drawer to represent actin and myosin the myosin head and the calcium ions and the protein complex. Why don't we click on this to see an example?
This is the sliding myofilament theory. The red dots represent the calcium ions, the popsicle stick represents the regulatory protein, the yellow dots represents actin, the The blue strings represent myosin myofilament, and the green on blue strings represents myosin heads. First, the myosin heads are at rest. Once the calcium ions move in and bond to the regulatory protein, it allows the myosin heads to connect to actin. After that, the myosin heads contract and push the two regulatory proteins together. After the calcium ions disconnect from the regulatory proteins, the myosin heads go back to a relaxed state and the regulatory proteins are disconnected.
So they used a combination of apps to create that. The initial labeling at the beginning was done using Sketch, and they saved that to their camera roll. Then all of the animation you saw a little bit later was using an app called iMotion. And then they uploaded all of that into iMovie and recorded the narration. And then they uploaded that into SeeSaw. Again, what we found is it's a wonderful portfolio of things they've created across all digital platforms. And the newest feature, one of the newest features in SeeSaw, is they now have this button called Add File, and it adds something directly from Google Drive. At this point, whatever you select from Google Drive, be it a slides, be it a sheet, be it a pages, I'm trying to think of some other options, it will upload it directly to SeeSaw as a PDF. So you can upload a link to SeeSaw. So if you want somebody to link into the actual slide presentation, I would add that as a link. But a quick way to submit something for grading is to add it as one of these Google files, which will upload it as a PDF into your SeeSaw portfolio and save it. Again, this is wonderful, and SeeSaw has a great way of expanding and adapting to accomplish this idea of building a portfolio that works with a range of different digital tools.